I want to favor Myztro. I want to. My heart says Myztro for Ruins of Sana. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very hard to say again due to the fact that with Team Liquid, we've yet to really have we don't have a lot of data on how they play against European teams, but it has kicked off already here on Ruins of Sana. We'll have to see who can pick up the first soul. It's often very chaotic. A lot of teams like to hold onto the rocket launcher position, and then they can kind of drop in the damage, pick up the soul, maybe ferry it to the upper point safely, but we'll get the steal coming in there straight away. And again, so much chaos. Who's actually going to end up with it, though? Looks like the cap will be happening here onto the lower point, and it will go to Team Liquid.
And we see no clutch coming out from Myztro, and I guess that validates the fact that they just don't think it's viable anymore. And that worries me, because I think even though it's not strong, they just need that focal point where they can base their play around that clutch's shield.
It's definitely a very difficult play style as well. Pats, if they're not feeling confident with it, I can understand, I can sympathize. It looks like the powerful spawn, the quad damage is active somewhere, and of course Liquid already up to 20% here, and it's very important to have the right positions when you're holding this defense. We'll see if they can do that, because again, you know, Wiz has this quad. He's coming in from the connector, the upper stairs point, and he will recap it straight away for his team. But you can deny a lot of the close spawns when you actually get set up, and you can really snowball things very quickly on this lower point. It gets honestly really difficult to deal with. Yeah,
and Wiz' play across both maps we've seen so far has been incredible. His positioning is spot on. He plays that next to a T. Nobody finds him, and he does a massive amount of damage, and that just makes Myztro's life hell trying to get in on these obelisks.
Absolutely, and right now it's actually a problem for Liquid, because they haven't stabilized control of the stairs that we could see actually being pushed, and Wynn's trying to defend, eventually going down here. You see Liquid still able to go for the defense here, but it looks like Myztro have made a decent effort. 4 players on the point for the steal, but the question now is whether they can get that across, and I think it's being recapped here.
Yeah, and again, we see 3 frags in a row coming out from Wynn's, just popping, didn't even pop the Ghost Walk, just great positioning, standing at the back, picking people off.
Nyx is so annoying. You never know if they're going to go in Viz, re-engage, or just go to a completely different location, and you're just left there just thinking the worst and preparing for them to basically appear from your back. So very annoying to play against. Wynn's putting it to expert use, and already 70% here for Liquid. Yeah, the next power-up is going to have to be good for Myztro.
Well, this is the problem. Like, do they even have time? Because it's 26 seconds, 74%. I don't think they can commit. They have to steal this obelisk.
We shall see. It's going to be a tight one, that is for sure. And at the moment as well, Liquid can actually, essentially, they go straight for that power-up. They can risk it if they want to, and it is a protection. Protection incredibly strong. It's the power-up that Myztro needs, but if they don't get it, if they lose that protection, that could be it for them in this one, and they'll get the steal, but will they be able to cap it?
It doesn't matter, and it's a quad. That's really unlucky. Oh no, sorry, my bad, it is a protection. I completely missed that. But
step it up.
Sorry, it's on Liquid, so it doesn't matter.
It's okay, first game of the day. Everyone's warming up, but it looks like Myztro need to warm up a bit more than Liquid here. Liquid able to get that steal back with the protection. This is the problem when you get a start like they got, where they will survive and they get it basically perfect from the start. They get the initial soul, they get the cap, and then they get that second power, and it's a protection. You can see the game run away like this, and even though the defense is, rather the attacks are coming in, right now it's a desperate sprint. They can't really set up or coordinate because they just have to get the bodies on the point.
And this is the problem we were talking about. When you do leave it so late, that you have to make that desperate push, you're never really going to get in. It's just such an easy round for Liquid. But the problem started right at the beginning. All of those attacks were really fragmented, and that caused great problem. And Wynn's had a field day, just standing at the back, picking one after one after one coming in.
Yep.
Myztro need to stabilize. They need to get a pick before they push in. At the moment, they're just trying to push the point without taking anyone out or doing any initial damage. And that's a real problem, because Liquid's defense is solid.
And it can be very difficult on this map, because sometimes with Ruins, when the lower point is held, you need to combine your offense through a rocket launcher from that tele point, as well as the stairs from lightning gun as well, to get the real split on there. But we'll see if they can do better here on this second round. It will be a pickup here from Rafa. Which way will he go? Looks like back to the A point. They had so much success there. It really makes sense if you have the choice. Again, you can get those locks here, and looks like the defense will be coming in now for Liquid.
And the problem is, you do need to try and slow sacrifice down. Yes, it ticks up exceptionally fast, but if the game gets so chaotic where, again, like we said, the attacks are really fragmented, it can be over before you know it, and you could have lost 2-0, and that is what Myztro are on the verge of doing right now.
And there is the quad there. It's just out there in the open. It looks like it will be collected, I think, by Liquid, I do believe.
Yeah, we can see the value that those teams place on quad isn't very high, just 2 people there. As the power-up is not exceptionally strong, as we said, compared to the battle suit, so not the end of the world that Myztro didn't get that.
Trying to clear everything out here, but Myztro not able to really make it happen. They do get the steal eventually. Who looking to get out of there, but it's going to meet the pummel, the gauntlet of Rafa, and he will be able to pick it back up for his team and get the cap back on his way. Myztro in a sorry state of affairs at the moment, as the quad will now be gone, but Rafa still holding on to things. Very low, but his teammates are coming in to help him out.
Yeah, and I'm super impressed by the way Liquid are playing. The way in which they react to every single call. If Myztro are taking the soul, then they all back off to their relevant positions in the tunnels and stop it going anywhere. Otherwise, they're just keeping stacked, maintaining their positions around the obelisk. I mean, it's just absolutely flawless, but textbook play.
And it's always interesting to see how teams actually position people when you have a defensive setup. But to hold that fort here, we have a good push coming in here. But the rocket there from Rafa's very good. A huge amount of damage. The throw will go out to the teleporter. We'll see, though, whether or not this will actually be called. And if Myztro can get a good, or rather, sorry, Team Liquid can get a good interception. The power-up is coming in about 40 seconds as well. So that's the next obstacle if Myztro are to cap.
And yes, and once again is the dilemma. Do we commit full for this power-up, or do we go for the soul? And he decided to go for the soul.
Now able to get the cap hit. The slide all the way up those stairs. But again, this next power-up is absolutely crucial. If this goes to Team Liquid, if the protection falls into their hands, that could be it in this first matchup between Liquid and Myztro. They must get it, and of course, they know that they have to prioritize so much to get it. If they get a free back cap of that soul, go straight back to the base of Team Liquid here. But who got the protection?
It was Liquid on Rafa.
Oh no, this is so bad for Myztro.
Yeah, Mystro's organization just wasn't there. I think there was only 2 guys from Myztro there against the 2 or 3 of Liquid, while others were pushing out in random directions. Again, it's just showing, I don't know if it's rust or what it is, but Myztro isn't on their game today.
Yeah, and I mean, Liquid, they're showing great team play, great coordination, and also they are showing that they, from an individual perspective, that they are stronger right now. And they hit, so they basically have all parts to the formula.
Yeah, and the European teams coming in here were coming in extremely confident. Nobody really knew what to expect. You always see strong team play coming out, but to see this level of coordination and the literal demolishment of Myztro, I think 2Z, not too fast, you need to start watching out.
Absolutely, we'll have the last desperate attempts here made onto the obelisk to try to buy an extra few seconds, but it may all be for nothing. Though, that said, 4 quick kills coming in from Myztro. Perhaps there will be a steal in play, but again, it's the interception game for Liquid, and they've been great at that.
And the problem is now, Liquid will all spawn on this side of the map, and as we see them swarming in, yes, they don't have weapons, but they've got health, and that's all you need at the end of the day.
Look at that pressure. There's no setup. Myztro are not able to even get it to a situation where, okay, they've got a defensive setup and they're just stabilizing. No, it's just a straight up steal straight away from Liquid, running it back to their base safely. They got pretty much everybody on the obelisk.
Nice.
Wiz has to hit everything, and he is doing so pretty effectively. We'll whiff that one, though. We might be able to get out of there, but for how long can he stay alive?
It was nearly enough. Wiz's play has been unbelievable in these last few maps.
Looks like the soul will be making its way back onto Garpy here, but again, the power-up is coming very soon. Absolute chaos here. And again, Liquid are the team that can essentially back on just getting the carrot. They can let the soul go. They've got so much time to work with. And it will actually be a quad going to hell. This is how you want to get back into it. I'm sure they would have preferred a protection here, but a quad will do nicely as well.
Yeah, but again, we can see Liquid not really committing. They've got a lot of time to play with, and this is where they just need to stabilize, get the weapons, maybe get an armor, set up and push in as 4. Something Myztro have failed to do for the majority of the game so far.
And holding this upper point is always very interesting, because it's always about how the other team decides to pressure you. Some teams like to throw a lot of players up from the heavy jump pad and coordinate that with attacking players from Rocket as well. And that can really be problematic if a team doesn't emphasize players on the point. And it looks like Liquid, they've waited for a while and then they went for a beautiful coordination. This really speaks to their team play.
Yeah, it was beautiful. You got 2 guys coming in from the lower side, 2 coming in from the other side, and that just splits up Myztro. And without effective calling of targets, I mean, you're just going to get fragged and you're going to get stolen.
And here it is. Liquid convincingly taking down Myztro. What a fantastic start for what is essentially the dream team, the North American hope. That's how they want to kick things off. And honestly, a lot of teams will be looking onwards, and they'll be, you know, perhaps sweating a little bit, seeing the performance there out of Liquid.
Yeah, I mean, it was business as usual. I think that's what Rafa would say. They didn't even really be tested, and that's just testament to the standard and stable way in which they played, and Myztro could not get past that. It was very effective, and if I would be worried if I was one of these European teams coming into this.
And that's the problem too for Myztro. I mean, you have a situation where they were able to, on Ruins of Sun, like as we saw in the last round, okay, finally they can get the Sol on the point, and it's not instantly stolen back, because the pressure from Liquid was often so good with all the squishies, they're so quick, that they weren't able to ever get that set up. But then it's a question of, okay, how good can you defend when we give you some space to get a setup, and then we go for a 4-man attack with coordination? And then it's just about that pure offensive ability versus the pure defensive ability, and Liquid, they only needed one good coordinated attack, so
exactly.
A lot to be talked about there for Myztro as they go back into some practice and discussions as they start to await their further matchups.
I feel a bit sorry for them. They obviously didn't play to their game, but it's just Liquid did an exceptional job. And I have to say that obviously we've been speaking about Wins and how well he played, but his life was made very easy by the fragmented nature of Myztro's attacks, that they were coming in one by one. He was taking a great defensive position. They were always weak when they were coming in, and he was just cleaning up. So really great play from Liquid. I'm sure now they've got confidence going in. On the flip side, I just hope that does not dishearten Myztro too much, because they've obviously got 2 more games and they got one very hard game against perhaps the favorites in the tournament, and then one very winnable game. So they have to compose themselves if they want to go through.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, of course, always, you know, maybe this is some day one jitters perhaps, but we shall see what the analysts think of that. I know you guys will be happy there over on the desk. Your North American lads managed to pull it out of the bag.